Hello, Max here from Atelier K. In this video, I'm going to guide you through how I created this custom sign for our studio. I'll show you everything from how I set up my workspace and materials to doing those final artistic touches in this nice, short video. Enjoy! I laid down a tarp to protect the surroundings from paint splatters and my general clumsiness. We actually reused an older sign, so it was given a quick coat of paint to prime it. Then I needed to prep the sign surface. I sanded it down to ensure it was smooth, and then I cleaned off the dust and debris. Next, I applied a base coat. We used dark purple paint mixed with green to make it nearly black. I applied 3 layers for a solid and even finish, allowing each layer to dry before applying the next. While the base coat was drying, I worked on the design. I sketched out a few thumbnail designs until I came up with one that ticked all the boxes. I chose floral elements and other artistic still life motifs like a vase, fruit, and art materials to highlight the theme of creativity. I gathered many items from around the studio to set up a still life. I then took many photos of this to use as reference in the final design. Using the photos as reference, I made a refined compositional line drawing. In this composition, I positioned the text Atelier K as the centerpiece, with Art Studio above and smaller while leaving enough space around the text for the illustrations. I arranged the illustrations asymmetrically around the text for a dynamic and engaging layout. I also ensured that the balance of detail didn't overwhelm the text. I was aiming for a harmonious composition where the illustrations flow organically around the text, framing it and drawing attention to the sign's artistic theme. I used a simple and well-known technique to get the design on the board. I first drew a grid on the compositional line drawing, dividing the illustration into an 8x8 rectangular grid. And then I drew the same grid on the signboard using a light blue erasable pencil. Next, I used that light blue erasable pencil to draw the corresponding lines making up the shapes of each square on that grid. It's a really easy and reliable technique, and it turned out really well, in my opinion. I decided to start with the organic side of the design first, and began painting the leaves. I started with some very dark colors. I wanted there to be a dark, subtle, atmospheric feeling to this area, along with bright and colorful areas. In art terms, this is called chiaroscuro. It's basically a technique for creating strong contrast between the light and dark. This is an effective way of creating a feeling of depth in an image. Where I painted bright, high contrast colors, I made sure that the colors weren't too strong, and were not too different from the overall colors used in the whole painting. This helps make sure that there is balance in the painting and that the eye won't be too strongly drawn towards any one part of the image. Now that most of the still life motif is complete, I started painting the text. I first used masking tape to outline the shapes of the text, and then painted a couple coats of a solid off-white color. This color is going to be the outline of the Atelier K text. After that dried, I painted a couple coats of the lovely green color that we spent quite some time choosing. The art studio text was painted with a nice neutral, desaturated red that looked good with the green text. I feel I need to apologize here. When the paint was all dry, I took off the masking tape. This was so very satisfying. I should have recorded that for you guys. Please forgive me. I decided that I wasn't happy with how the paint tubes turned out. So at the very end, I went back to this part of the painting and fixed the labels, and gave it a little more light and shadow. To finish the painting, I added subtle highlights or details to the illustrations using my strongest values to give the design a polished look. I also went around touching up any small mistakes, paint splatters, or places where the paint was too thin. Once everything was dry, I coated the whole sign, front, sides, and back, with a clear varnish for durability and weather resistance. And there you have it. That's how we got to this completed sign. Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more creative projects. We have many great art videos available on our YouTube page, so please check that out too. See you next time!